What's going on, y'all? Your boy Darius the Great here back again for the video, and this time we have ourselves some huge, man. I mean huge Marvel news, MCU news, because dude, I was not expecting this. This is significant. Daredevil Born Again is on hold, right? Like it already was on hold because of the strikes, but like they are stopping it to reboot the series. A complete creative overhaul. They released all their writers and directors. They're starting this thing from scratch. And it's part of a big, creative overhaul of the entire Marvel TV, like all the shows they get on Disney Plus. They're completely rethinking how they do television on Disney Plus for their Marvel shows. And I, for one, could not be happier. Okay, because it's just, man, let's get into this thing. Let's read this article from the Hollywood Reporter that breaks it down. It's got some, inside information about what's been going on the Marvel TV, productions. It's a lot. But before we do me a huge favor. Click that like button, man. Helps the algorithm push my content out there. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm on the road to 300 subscribers, which is just, a little part of the road on the highway to 1,000. So help me out there. If you haven't subscribed already, click that button, man. Click the notification bell as well, so you get notified whenever I make another video. You'll always be there. But anyway, man, let's get into this thing. Okay, man, here we go. Hollywood Reporter. Daredevil hits reset button as Marvel overhauls its TV business, man. Launched during the pandemic with a playbook to shoot an $150 million plus $150 million plus seasons with no pilots. The Disney unit is undergoing growing pains and seeing the logic of traditional TV culture. Dude, they were going to do multiple seasons for this. Interesting. Okay, so let's see here. It didn't take long to see the problem at the Marvel Studios. Daredevil Born Again paused production in mid-June during the writer's strike. Fewer than half of the series' 18 episodes have been shot. Damn. But it was enough for Marvel executives, including Chief Kevin Feige, to review the footage and come away with a clear-eyed assessment. The show wasn't working. So in late September, Marvel quietly let go of head writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman and also released the directors for the remainder of the season as part of a significant creative reboot of the series. The studio is now on the hunt for new writers and directors for the project, which stars Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, blind lawyer turned superhero. The Daredevil revamp is the latest in a series of growing pains for Marvel Television. Oh boy, you're telling me. Since debuting the Emmy-winning WandaVision in January 2021, the studio, which dominated the film industry in the 2010s, has released more than 50 hours of television programming after creating a small screen division from the ground up during the pandemic. Through it all, the company eschewed the traditional TV making model. It didn't commission pilots, but instead shot entire 150 million plus seasons of TV on the fly. It didn't hire showrunners, but instead depending on film executives to run its series. Problem Exhibit A. Like, you need showrunners for a TV. You can't just have film people who have no experience in TV to try and run it. Okay. And as Marvel does for its movies, it relied on post-production and reshoots to fix what wasn't working. Oh boy. Even though they remain, along with Star Wars titles, the most watched shows on Disney Plus, Marvel series have recently faced a number of creative challenges and cries of diminishing returns from critics and audience metrics, causing a major shift at the studio to move to make TV shows the more traditional way. We're trying to marry the Marvel culture with the traditional TV culture, says Brad Winderbaum, Marvel's head of streaming television animation. It comes down to how can we tell stories in television that honor what's so great about the source material. With Daredevil's new direction, Marvel hopes to right the ship on a project with sky-high expectations. The show is Marvel's first to feature a hero who has already had a successful series on Netflix running 3 seasons, but sources say that Corman and Ord crafted a legal procedural that did not resemble the Netflix version, known for its action and violence. Cox didn't even show up in costume until the 4th episode. Think about that. Marvel, after greenlighting the concept, found itself needing to rethink the original intention of the show. It takes 4 episodes for Daredevil to show up in costume. We've already seen Daredevil in costume in She-Hulk. So you mean to tell me for 4 weeks straight, you would have just had us, sitting there like, dude, there's no Daredevil action at all. What is going on? It's not like She-Hulk was our, procedural show. We had that, right? Daredevil, it's a mix of both. It's a mix of legal stuff and action, which the Netflix series did perfectly. They balanced both of it. They made both aspects equally important. But it seems like they were not going to do that, which just boggles my mind, dude. Like, come on. Marvel plans to keep some scenes in episodes, so other serialized elements will be injected, with Corman and Orr becoming executive producers on the 2-season series. So yeah, it's going to be 2 seasons. Daredevil is far from the first Marvel series to undergo drastic behind-the-scenes changes. Those who have worked with Marvel on the TV side have complained of a lack of central vision that has, according to sources, begun to affect the studio shows with creative differences and tensions, man. This all is making so much sense. TV is a writer-driven medium. It is. Says one insider familiar with the Marvel process. Marvel is a Marvel-driven medium. Oh, Lord. That is a statement and a half. On the Oscar Isaac star Moon Knight, show creator and writer Jeremy Slater quit and director Mohamed Diab took the reins, which probably explains why it felt like it was 2 shows warring with each other. Oh, do we be, superhero show? Do we be, psychological stuff? Like, they couldn't decide what they wanted. Jessica Gao developed and wrote She-Hulk Attorney at Law, but was sidelined once director Kat Coro came on board. Production was challenging with COVID hitting cast and crew, and Gao was brought back to oversee post-production, a typical showrunner duty, but it's the rare Marvel head writer who has such oversight. They didn't know how to write. They didn't know how to produce TV. That's crazy. Even though the company does not have a writer's first approach to TV, directors could feel shortchanged as well. The whole fix it in post attitude makes it feel like a director doesn't matter sometimes. Yeah. As its shows ramped up during the pandemic, Marvel stepped outside its usual staffing approach and brought in outside execs after years of eternally promoting creatives who have been sufficiently trained in the Marvel method. This change was felt most severely on Secret Invasion, that piece of trash. The Samuel Jackson-led thriller that stands as Marvel's worst reviewed series. Kyle Bradstreet, a writer and executive producer on USA Network Emmy winner Mr. Robot, which is so good. If you have not seen Mr. Robot, go watch it. It's amazing. Had been working on the scripts for Secret Invasion for about a year when he was fired after Marvel decided on a different direction. The writer from Mr. Robot, you fire him. Did you just, okay. Enter new writer Brian Tucker, who penned the crime thriller Broken City, Thomas Bazooka. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but that's funny. Who helmed the thriller Let Him Go, and Ali Salem, who worked on Hulu's 9/11 drama The Looming Tower, were on board as directors and to help crack the story. Oh, they cracked the story, all right. They cracked it into so many pieces, it was unfixable. So far, so normal, at least by Marvel's creative development standards. Details are murky, but what happened next in the summer of 2022 debilitated the production as factions became entrenched and leaders vied for supremacy during Secret Invasion's pre-production in London. It was weeks of people not getting along, and it erupted, says an insider. Marvel declined to directly comment on the matter. Damn, it became faction warfare inside productions, dude. Like, really? Like, that just shows you don't have a showrunner running the thing. Like, you don't get this in other shows that actually have, showrunners, have designated people to handle the TV stuff. Not the company dispatched Jonathan Schwartz, a senior executive and member of Marvel's creative steering committee known as the Parliament, to get Secret Invasion back on track when it was falling behind schedule and on the verge of losing some actors because of other commitments. By early September, a good portion of the Invasion team had been replaced with new line producers, unit production managers, and assistant directors. And Bazooka, who was supposed to direct 3 episodes, left the show because of new scheduling conflicts. The Marvel executive overseeing the show, Chris Gary, was reassigned and, according to sources, is expected to depart Marvel when his contract is up at the end of the year. As it moves forward, Marvel is making concrete changes in how it makes TV. It now has plans to hire showrunners. Wow! It has taken them... Wait a minute. When did the first show come out? 2020, right? During the pandemic? But, like, they would have started in, 2019. So it's taken them, 4 years to decide. You know what, man? You know what? I have a great idea. I have a great idea, man. What if we hire showrunners? That's genius! Dude. Gao's post-production work on She-Hulk helped Marvel see that it would be helpful for his shows to have a creative through line from start to finish. It is blowing my mind, dude. It's common sense. It is common sense, Marvel. What the hell? This is what happens, man. This is what happens when you get too comfortable with success and you just stop caring and you just... It's a term we've not only grown comfortable with, but also learned to embrace as when the bomb of showrunners and Marvel's TV's intention to hire them. The studio also plans on having full-time TV execs rather than having executives straddle both television and film. Again, common sense. What do I always say? Common sense ain't common, dude. We need executives that are dedicated to this medium, that are going to focus on streaming, focus on television. because they are two different forms. Again, it took them like 4 years to realize this. It is also revamping its development process. Showrunners will write pilots and show Bibles, which should have already been there. The days of Marvel shooting an entire series from She-Hulk to Secret Invasion and looking at what's working and what's not are done. Hallelujah, dude. And just as Loki, which returned October 5th, marked Marvel's first season 2 of a series out of 9 TV shows to date, it feels like 15. The studio plans on leaning to the idea of multi-season serialized TV, stepping away from the limited series format that has defined it. Thank you. Make TV shows. I mean, like, there's places for limited TV series, yes, but for some of the stories that they're especially trying to tell, that, you know, weaved in and out of different things, you know, the different sagas and whatnot, just make a TV show, serialized TV show, where you have the time and you have the pace to be able to tell your story and to flesh out your characters and make sure that everything works. Don't just stick it with 6 episodes, we're done. Marvel wants to create shows that run several seasons where characters can take time to develop relationships with the audience rather than feeling as if they are there as a setup for a big crossover event. God. Oh, man. This is speaking to my soul right now. It really is. Jesus. It took them 4 years to realize this. Some of its next shows, in fact, promise to be more personal stories. Echo, which premieres in January. Who really cares about that? I'm sorry. It's just like, it's a grounded crime story with few visual effects revolving around deaf Native American anti-hero Maya Lopez. A character who is as intriguing and interesting as a brick wall. I'm sorry. She didn't do it for me in Hawkeye. I'm sorry. Wonder Man, a show that was paused because of the writers and actors strike, is meant to be behind the scenes look at Hollywood and a character study of Simon Williams, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Second, a superhero has a side gig as an actor and stunt person. Winterbomb says he wants people to watch the shows because they love the characters. It should work. He says beyond the fact that it ties into other projects, if they're going to be in a movie or if it's setting up an Avengers film. Now that last part right there, this right here, I feel like that also speaks to the fans, because the fans are also like that, right? Like the fans, you people, as wrestling heels love to say, you people. A lot of people, when it came to these shows, especially like when you got around like Miss Marvel and stuff or whatever, like a lot of people were like, oh, does this set up, you know, does this tie into things, does this, you know, like where are we going, what's the story, what's the overall phase stuff. Like sometimes you can just have TV shows about the characters without factoring them, like without it being tied to the multiverse saga, without it being tied to some big crossover. Sometimes we could just tell stories with characters, right? So they need to do that when they're like creating the story, creating the shows. But your fans need to also remember that, keep that in your brains, because we've been conditioned to think everything must tie to some big crossover. It doesn't have to always. As long as by the time we get to the set crossover and a certain character shows up, we actually care about them. That's key. That was a lot, man. That was a lot. And there's a lot of truths in that. There's a lot of, you know, glaring, like them not having showrunners, them not having, you know, them not shooting pilots so that we know, okay, is this actually going to work? You know, like they just, I'll fix it in post. And like just having film executives try to do TV, and it's just like, it's two different things. And I know it's all, you know, actors shooting in front of a camera, but it's very different things. And I'm glad that someone at Marvel looked in the mirror and was just like, bro, we got to change this, man. This is just not working, you know? I'd like to think Secret Invasion was that tipping point, because my God, like this show had so much promise starting out. Like the first 2-3 episodes was just like, this can be something really good, and then it all went downhill. And a lot of the shows are like that, where it starts off really good, then it goes downhill, and it's evidently because there's some instability, you know, with people working on it. And it's just, do better, Marvel, because like shows like The Boys, Gen V, you know, Peacemaker, like different shows from different companies that are superhero based are knocking y'all out of the water, and it's like laughable. So hopefully, man, I don't know like when this would start. I guess this would start with Born Again, right? I imagine any show that comes out, so like Echo, Agatha, I think those are like the next 2 shows. Those probably still have the effects of the old Marvel TV. Hopefully when Born Again comes out, which I think they said it was like now going to be like 2025, and it would have to be probably that long because they're rebooting the whole thing. Hopefully by then, we will have a new Marvel TV, division on Disney Plus that actually puts out good TV shows. And like, don't get me wrong, I love some of the shows. Like Falcon and Winter Soldier is like my favorite show. I love it. Loki season 1 was great. Loki season 2 so far, and the first episode looks really good. But most of the shows just are not it. Oh, Miss Marvel too. I loved Miss Marvel. But yeah, man. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about Marvel's creative overhaul with TV? Did you like how it was going before? Did you not? What was your favorite show? Let me know all that stuff, man. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.